Here at the Literary Feast, and I'm here with
Dr. Michael Harvey. I also work on Central Campus, and I'm in the biology department.
Great. I wanted to ask you, what are your current projects? What are you looking at right now?
Well, currently I'm writing a book on the lizards of South America, where we're sort of describing a number of species and their distributions and that sort of thing. I'm also working on an evolutionary analysis of a family of lizards called the Teiidae.
And where are they living?
The Teiidae are all in the New World, so it's it's actually a family level analysis. We're trying to determine the relationships of various genera and species in that family.
Okay. So. When did you begin writing and researching? What kind of got you into the whole research and...
Well, I really started in graduate school. What I really wanted to do was discover new species and describe new species, and I started traveling to South America and discovering new species in the early 90s. This really started happening in 1990 when I went to Bolivia for the first time. And on that particular trip we found 20 new species, things that were new to science. So some of my first descriptions were new frogs and snakes that we collected on that trip.
Oh, that's great. And you've been writing ever since?
I've been writing ever since. That's correct. As fast as I can. I love writing.
That's good. Who is your favorite author, or is there a particular scientist that has really been sort of someone that you've admired?
Well, one person who really inspired me a lot was he's actually not an active scientist, but he's a science writer named David Kamen, and he's written some books on island biogeography, for example. I've read several, The Song of the Dodo is a famous book that he wrote, which I enjoyed a lot. And a lot of the people I studied under were prolific science writers, and their inspiration, especially Jonathan Campbell and Charles Myers at the American Museum, their research has also been a big inspiration to me. It's fairly technical scientific research, but nonetheless very inspirational.
Good, good. I have one more question for you.
Certainly.
Do you have any advice for students for researching and publishing and writing?
Yes, I think there's no better time to start than as soon as possible. A lot of undergraduates can collaborate with established researchers. I've published several papers with students who were doing independent study projects with me. And then even in grad school, assuming they go on to grad school, it's always important to publish as much as possible, and a lot of times, frequently it takes a little guidance, early on. And I think the best thing to do is to approach someone who does research that you're interested in and ask for their advice.
Very good. Very good advice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time. And I hope you enjoy the feast.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.